Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into one-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. Kyle.
Yes.
I have such a great topic. You ready?
Oh, good.
Best cosplay toys ever.
Oh, wow.
What's your earliest... And I'm specifically talking about cosplay toys, like manufactured by a real toy company or whatever, and put out.
I think I know where you're going, and I think I have an answer.
Okay. Oh, so obviously, child of the 70s.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Now I have the answer you think I'm going to have, but then I have the most ridiculous answer because I can't even tell you this. Well, of course, the cosplay toy that everyone wanted was a lightsaber. Right?
Oh, sure. And
at our shopping mall back in the late 70s, early 80s, yes, there were the knockoff third-party flashlights with the large white, plastic tube. Oh, they had the little red or green or blue insert right in them. And then I remember as my brother and I had such great times running around our backyard pretending we were Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and stuff.
Yeah.
Kenner comes out with their own version, which is the inflatable one, which was cool, but also ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's yellow because a lot of them, I think the initial thing of those, because of the weird coloring issue with the toys and stuff, they had the yellow blade. Okay, all that's great. But that is not my most fondest cosplay toy of my childhood. What it is from another science fiction franchise. That science fiction franchise is Star Trek. And yes, I had the infamous Remco Star Trek Space Fun helmet.
You had the Spock helmet? Oh my god.
And I gotta tell you, I mean, you look back at this, I remember getting it, and I remember just thinking, well, this is the coolest thing ever. It had a big, stupid red flashing light on top. It had the visor. You had stickers that you could put Kirk or Spock on it. And I think maybe my dad, even got like other stickers so we could like put our own names on it or whatever.
Yeah.
It had a ridiculous sound. And the whole story, go online if you want to know what we're talking about.
Actually, I would recommend people go to Netflix if you have a subscription and watch the Toys That Made Us episode about Star Trek, because they go deep into why there was a helmet that was never used on screen and yet somehow was an official product from the Star Trek. Why was this like helmet with a siren thing? Why did it have Star Trek stuff on it?
God love the good people at Remco.
Yeah.
And capitalism, because
that's right. There's money to be made. We need to make that money.
There's a whole story of that. Now, I also even had, because again, 70s, 79 is when the Star Trek The Motion Picture came out. I even had the phaser, which I loved this because the phaser was this little plastic phaser, again, a flashlight, and it came with these little discs that if you put them on, you could project like the Starship Enterprise, the silhouette of it on your walls. I love that stuff so much. I love it so much.
I never got any of that stuff, but mine was also Star Trek, because for me it was in the 90s when Playmates Toys put out stuff. I bought all of the ones they did there. So I remember the very first time I got my own tricorder.
Yes!
So excited about that because it opened up just like it did on the show. It had lights and sounds that did all the stuff. And then later on they did a medical tricorder, which had the little thing that Dr. Crusher used to use to scan. Oh yeah, I got that. And then from then I bought everything, that all the Palisades prop type toys that did. So every phaser, I have a Bajoran phaser, I have a Klingon disruptor, I have everything that they put out. I got all of those. So excited about those. You and I share a love of having replicas of the things that people used in the show.
How and what a golden age we live in today.
Yes.
Because not only do you have from Icons, which was the original licensee of prop replicas from Star Wars, and then Master Replicas, and then of course Hasbro now is doing it. You got that stuff. You got the Marvel Legends series. I mean, you can get the Gauntlet, and you can get all this crazy stuff.
Yep. I have Mjolnir sitting. It's just out of reach.
Yes.
I keep trying for it to come to my hand, and it won't. I'd say some of the weird stuff that I have picked up over the years. I have Davy Jones' key from Pirates of the Caribbean. Like it's on a leather strap. It's a metal key. Like it has the thing on there. And I also, and speaking of keys, I have One-Eyed Willie's key from the Goonies. The actual key that he puts in and then has to turn and makes the floor drop away like that. I have that as well. It's also a metal. I think Mezco is the one that put that one out. I have a treasure box full of these kind of things. I love those things. I unfortunately am not in a tax bracket to get all the Master Replica stuff. So mine always I always wait for them to do like the just entry level ones. Like I can't afford all the super nice lightsabers. I'm like, can you have one at around like $40?
I have splurged on one elite. I think one or two elite sabers, and then that's it. And then I had to okay.
Yeah,
my wife's not gonna. That's not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only so much room.
No,
but though I do have a Ghostbusters proton thrower.
Oh, so. You have the newer protons. I have the older Matty Collector one. No, that's amazing. That stuff is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, there's not a lot of Marvel. I know that people are like, this is a Marvel podcast. There aren't. I mean, Marvel Legends does put out. So I do have that. I don't have a lot of other ones I do because it's like there's only so many helmets you can have.
Oh, right, exactly.
And especially because you and I are both men of large domes.
Yeah.
So a lot of helmets. Like I know you, and not necessarily that you need to be walking around your house in the helmet, but it's like you want to be able to put the helmet on your head, right?
Yeah, I can't do that.
You were kind enough for one Christmas. You got me an X-wing helmet.
Yes,
like Luke Skywalker's helmet for the X-wing, and it fits. It's great. So
wait, it fits you? Do you have to take the padding out?
I had to take some of the padding out. Yes, but I actually can put it on my head, and it sits like it's supposed to on a helmet. That's what
Red 5 standing by.
Right, exactly.
Oh, stuff is so great.
Good. I know, and so, but sometimes when they put something out like that, it kind of I really have a hard time like not adding to cart.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like I would love to have the Captain America shield, but I was like my wife's like, no. I'm like, there's an open space in my office, like right there. There's a big. I could just hang it on it. No, it's like, all right. Fine. She let me. I managed to talk her into Mjolnir, but I couldn't talk her into the Captain America shield.
Well, okay. So now, we could go on and on. Why do I bring up like actual toy cosplay materials? This might be the first. Is this the first scene of where an actual toy cosplay item is in the movie?
Yes, I believe at least in the MCU.
Yeah,
that an actual like toy based on the movie is actually in the movie that it was based on.
That's shameless.
Some weird, exactly. some marketing inception stuff here as we hit minute 100. It's our centennial, Rob. Minute 100. We've done 100 episodes of this, and we're still talking about Iron Man. Here we are at the minute 100 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, directed by Mr. Jon Favreau. And so we are in the middle of an action sequence. Well, actually, I take it back. We're in the middle of a negotiation about who's driving. Because Natasha needs to get to Hammer headquarters to stop Ivan, so she has not explained this at all. She's trying to get Happy to do it. She said, you want me to drive? And now we have his answer here at the start of minute 100. No, I'm driving. Get in the car. I just love how it instantly goes from, I'm not taking you anywhere. Fine, you want me to drive? No, I'm driving. Get in the car. Like, oh, well, you do have one job, Happy.
Can I tell you something?
It's to drive.
Well, no. Well, okay. But he actually has a second job. And this moment, again, seeing this for like the fourth or fifth time in detail. You know who should be really upset about this moment?
Who?
Pepper.
Oh, yeah, because she just got abandoned by her two closest...
let's think about this. Okay, one of Happy's main jobs is to take care of Pepper, right?
Yes, he does not work for Natasha.
Wait, Natasha comes up. And Natasha's just like, all right, we're going. You're taking me here. No, I'm not. All right, I'll take the car. Oh, no, I'll drive you. Well, what about Pepper?
Yeah.
Dude, you just bailed. Like,
you're seeing the same stuff, right, Happy? Like, you're seeing the drones. You're seeing Iron Man is flying around.
Stuff's
you're seeing
blowing
War
up.
Machine.
Oh, my God. I just... And maybe that's a little foreshadowing because, Happy's just like, well, I like Natasha, so or Natalie. He thinks Natalie. This moment where it has to happen because it sets up stuff later on.
Right.
But it's hilarious when you think about the implications. Like, oh yeah, Pepper. She probably didn't make it.
She's in with Justin Hammer and two other Hammer employees and all by herself, and there's robots destroying it, but she'll be fine. She'll be fine. So I have a transcript of the movie. That's where I can actually I pulled all the stuff they've gone through, and it's pretty accurate. Like every once in a while they'll mess up a line or a word or something like that. But for this minute, it says lots of shooting drones and people screaming.
Well,
that's the entire synopsis of the transcript.
Super accurate.
Yeah. We're gonna have to try and dig deep to get into a shot by shot as it goes on here because it's a lot of action here in minute 100, and that's the last dialogue. Like we don't really have. No one says anything for the rest of the minute. Let's see. Well, let's talk about the Army drones. So we've seen the Air Force drones are in the sky chasing Tony along with War Machine. We've seen the Navy drones have come out, and now they're doing the other thing. They're shooting missiles, but now they're also shooting indiscriminately. So we actually have the Navy drones are shooting missiles just out into the world. And then we were talking about in the last one, we have that top-down RTS map, and we can see Ivan sort of deploying his units in different places to cause maximum chaos. And so we have the Army drones are now finally going to do something. So the Army drones come stomping out of there, and then they do this thing. They get to the stairs, and they do this really cool thing where they put their feet down and they lock themselves into place. They basically mount themselves to the stairs. They show it like 3 times, because they're like, this is freaking cool. You're gonna want to see this. And I'm like, yeah, I do want to see that. Thank you.
It is such an awesome detail. We've talked about this when they were introduced, that they are equipped, each one of these drones is equipped with foot-mounted anchor spikes.
Yeah.
And this is just for the Army drones. And mainly it's because they're equipped with a shoulder-mounted tank gun. The tank gun is massive. It has huge kickback. You can't fire it without being secured to the ground. So there's a whole science and there's a whole reason in terms of these are designed like that. But when it zooms in on that first foot and it comes down to the ground, what a masterfully rendered piece of mechanics.
Yeah. You never have a doubt that that's a real piece of metal on a real piece of stone.
But okay, the way you see, so you see the foot come down.
Yep.
You see that there is like on the sides of the like sort of the ankle, like these are almost like high tops, like right. Imagine like the sides of your high tops. You see for a brief second the anchor spike deploy out of this hole on the sides of them. And if you know what anchor spikes are, I mean, actually, people who would be very familiar with this are professional photographers. If you have a really high-end tripod, most of these high-end tripods have anchor spikes that you can attach to the bottom of the feet, so that if you're in a place like a lot of grass or under different conditions, you can put your tripod. It's exactly the same kind of concept. So it isn't just surface area. The surface area actually is equipped with some spikes that actually dig in, like cleats do on a football player or other soccer player on their shoes. So you see those come out, and then even that's cool enough. You see them lift up their heel, because now they're going to use the force of their heel to implant as these side plates deploy. And when it does that, you can actually see that the mechanics, there's multiple pieces to the heel. It actually functions like a real foot. Mm-hmm. And all of that detail, I mean, yeah, I love this.
Yeah, they really went out of their way with the design on this. Like, they really thought this through about how this thing would actually work in the real world. Now, there's some other things about, like, where's the ammo that's going into these things. Yeah. But you can tell they put a lot of work into this design, and you see all of them do that. Like, this is where we're going to be, and then they start aiming, essentially. So they see like this is coming in, and apparently they don't have a thing about friendly fire, because they just start firing up into there, like probably airburst that like they get to a certain height and then explode. So they're going up there, and they end up taking out one of their own drones. So we see it go, and we see it magically, fantastically dodge every single person in that crowd as it crashes to the ground. It's amazing how that happened, Rob.
Okay. Couple things to say about this. One, beautifully rendered, and when we get this whole sequence, they're doing that because they can't show. I find this so interesting about this entire sequence, in that they're implying incredible carnage and incredible death, and in this moment they're not going to show it, because then it's no longer a PG or PG-13 movie. Then I would assume, right? Because this would be massive carnage. It does, though. I think it's almost like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That we're showing you this because we have to limit it. But this shows you the craziness that is actually happening on the ground. Like I just think that there's a duality to doing this. It isn't just to show. It isn't just to motivate Ivan to step it up, because as what we see is, as soon as this is done, we switch to the screen in Ivan's master command center, and one of the deploy switches goes to offline. He knows that one of those has been destroyed, and now he's got to get intense and change his strategy. This is all part of the telling of the story. But I also think it is just to show you that real people's lives are in danger here, and it's pretty serious.
Yeah, it is rated PG-13 for some intense sequences of sci-fi action and violence, which is right here This is the intense sequence of the time X-Men. And brief suggestive content, which we'll find out about in the coming minutes.
Yeah, that'll be, we've had a little bit of it.
That's not in this minute.
We have had it in the past, but we will definitely have it in the next minute. Yeah, what's not on that list is dismemberment.
True.
Which is why...
Which will be a major problem in phase 2.
Wow. No
kidding. But here we're still in phase 1. So the drones that aren't actively trying to blow up Iron Man, their job is cause chaos. Like they're out there they're tromping through the crowd, and the people are running and screaming and panicking all over the place. And then we get to see like the crowd, and then the crowd sort of like moves off and parts.
Well, wait, before you say that, just make sure that we know that Ivan's gotten serious in this because he's taken off his glasses.
Oh, now we know it's on. This is like over the top when Sly Stallone turns his hat around backwards. It's like a switch going out there. Glasses come off. Now we're getting serious.
We do have this moment, actually 2 moments. One, he takes the glasses off. And we have these couple of shots of him really getting intense. And then I do think this is a little homage because it's nicely rendered. We see another overhead graphic that he's playing, and it literally looks like he's playing Missile Command.
Yes, true.
Command is.
Yeah, actually, they say that in the commentary.
Oh, good.
Okay, he specifically mentions Missile Command as being I think he was also noticing the same thing. He didn't actually say I was doing an homage to the Missile Command. He was like, it kind of looks like Missile Command.
Oh, the person who did it, that's what it is. Missile Command is a 1980 arcade game developed by and published by Atari. It's just made me laugh. I love it. I saw that and I went, oh, very nice. Nicely done. So now we got the crowd.
Right, the crowd is Navy, running, they're panicking, they're screaming, and we have
the Navy drones show back up. They launch a couple more guided missiles to cause more mayhem.
Yep, they're wrecking buildings. We're seeing the things falling down, glasses breaking, and then we have one Army drone who apparently has kind of gone rogue. Like you're supposed to be on the stairs shooting up in the sky, but this guy is just like wandering through the crowd. Like, where are the stairs? I can't find the stairs. So the people are running away from it, all except for one man. Yes, one man stands alone against these. Like, I will not yield to this robot. I will not run from him. I will stop him because I am Iron Man. I am also 9. So as the crowd goes away, there's basically like a 9-year-old kid staying there, kind of doing a little bit of cosplay because he's wearing an Iron Man helmet. But it's not just any Iron Man helmet. It's actually the Hasbro Iron Man helmet that they put out from the movie. Like it's not a prop. This is actually something that was probably bought off the shelf at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And they actually brought it back out for Iron Man 2 like to sell. So like, so this is the actual one. So it actually has like lights and sounds. Like it actually like lights up. It opens. So like if you press the button on the side, the whole faceplate would come up and stuff too. Like this is an actual real item you could purchase. And we did some digging. You actually stay and still purchase this. But of course now it is a collector's item. So if you want to get this cheap plastic Iron Man helmet, you can for about $250.
Now that's Amazon price. You might be able to find something different on eBay.
Well,
but I mean,
exactly. eBay, you'll have to you pay your money, you take your chances on eBay.
Right.
But they if you are in the market for an Iron Man helmet, there are much better ones you can get for cheaper than that. Even though it doesn't look like the one that was used on screen.
But it does.
And this is from 2 prop nerds.
Right. I mean, but this is just so neat to see an actual toy. I mean, something you could have actually bought, used in the movie, and there's always these stories about special effects being done in like Star Trek and Star Wars franchises where they kit bashed off the shelf models. But this is kind of funny in that, no, you could buy the thing that you see in the movie and then use it like they're using it in the movie. Like that's kind of cool. Yeah. I got a big kick out of that.
So this one kid basically is still standing there as everybody else runs away, as this drone sort of like looks at him like, why aren't you running away? And so he holds his hand up and he actually has a glowing repulsor thing. Now, this is something I don't remember ever seeing actually in toy stores. Like, I actually have a hand thing that glow. There was like missile launchers that they would have and stuff too, but I don't remember them actually having a palm light that would glow. Was there an actual
There actually toy? Are a few, and I know one of them was licensed, and it's similar to what this kid is looking at, because it looks like a cheap glove that where the tips of the fingers are cut off.
Oh, okay.
Some of like the Party City, if you're familiar with that chain, I know they're in the United States, they sold like the cheap like costume accessories,
right?
And that was something with like a little tap light and stuff that was sewn in or attached into the inside of the glove.
So this would have been a metal guy gauntlet.
Yes. Oh my god!
An Anthony Serious cosplay.
If you don't have the licensing,
you gotta do what you gotta do. So he is standing off against this drone, and so the drone drops his howitzer. I mean, like that, his cannon down, which seems like it's going to be really bad for him too, because like you're going to get knocked off your feet, drone.
Well,
like,
you haven't planted. You got to use your plant spikes. You got to attach yourself to the ground.
You're going to knock yourself on your robotic keister. But he lines the shot, and we see most of this in his grainy vision. So I'm not sure if we're meant to think this is what Ivan is seeing, or this is just like the drone running through his program, because it's like, obviously he uses crappy hammer optics, so it looks crappy on the screen and stuff too. But he's holding his hand up like he's going to do something. The drone is about to destroy him, and Iron Man shows up. So like apparently he's the master multitasker. So in addition to running around stuff, he like looked down and went, "Oh, hey, I should probably do something about that," and drops down right behind the kid, and then raises his own blaster. Does he destroy him in this minute, or is that
no? He raises his own blaster,
and that's it.
And that's where the minute ends.
That's where the minute ends. Yeah.
I got to tell you how much more appreciation I have for the scene, because obviously we're going to talk about the kid and stuff.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Two things that have blown my mind. Number one, when you see the drone's view, you actually see on the right, as he's coming into focus with the kid, the software, and this proves that it's AI, it's showing an image of the Iron Man helmet, and it's kind of blinking on the right, showing that, hey, this matches up. We think this is Iron Man. Now, the software is, shall we just say, crap, because it can't see that this is a much smaller Iron Man. You're saying that software is shit. That's probably what I'm saying. Okay, so that's the first thing. I've not really ever noticed that. I mean, because again, you're focused on this kid, and it's just cool to see this little kid, right?
Yeah.
Here's the part I've never noticed that I think is incredible. Go back to where the drone first sees the kid, and as soon as it cuts to the shot behind the kid, so it's an up lower shot, right? You see this wall with all of these like color boxes on it. But if you look up in the sky, there's Tony. You see him flying this is before the guy's even targeted the kid. And you actually see him change course because he's seen what's happening.
Nice.
Such a great detail that, I mean, again, I'm just, because there's so many focused on so many different things, I have never noticed the course correction change. So you see that he sees what's happening, and he's like, "Oh wait, I got to break. Yeah, I'm getting chased, but I don't care. I got to take care of this kid." And then that's when you go back to the CCT view, and now when it goes back to when the tank gun is put into play, you can see Tony flying in for the landing. And again, because it happens so fast, you don't see it. Honestly, I would recommend, if you want to go back and check the scene, slow it down and look at it frame by frame. These are the kind of things that make me so happy. One, not just happy because of these movies, happy to look at it in this detail, because this is the kind of stuff that somebody animated that, let me just say, whoever you are, props.
And who knows with all the different special effects houses, I'm not sure which one actually was. So the actor we have here has a very close connection to the director, because that's Max Favreau. That's Jon Favreau's son.
Hey!
Remember we saw Maximiliano when we were over in the racing?
Yes!
This is named for him. So this is actually Max Favreau. I believe he was 9 at the time. So he has done several cameos, but this is probably the most famous.
So he is playing someone. He's just playing kid in the crowd?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the lore that has developed here. So around about the time that Captain America Civil War came out, I know we're flashing forward to the future, somewhere Andy Nelson is screaming.
Sorry, Andy.
Love you, Andy. The people started saying that Spider-Man shows up in Captain America Civil War. I know someone has now gasped, like, how dare you say something? Yes, it's true. I've spoiled a movie from the far future and the past at the same time. And so people were saying, like, hey, if he's a teenager at this point, he shows up in the timeline, then he would have been young. He could have gone to Stark Expo. And so a fan theory started developing online saying that this kid is in fact Peter Parker. And the timeline's up, and so someone went to, when Kevin Feige was doing press for some of the stuff, and they said, "Hey, what do you think about that?" And he said, "Sure, why not?" So essentially, if you trust Kevin Feige as arbiter of all things continuity, then he has deigned this theory to be true. He's basically given his version of the no prize and said, "Sure."
Confirmed.
Away.
Confirmed.
Yeah. So there is a sort of a fun fan thing that says that this is actually a young Peter Parker who meets Iron Man for the first time, and then obviously they have a very close relationship in the future.
Now, can I tell you this? Okay, so first of all, I think that's neat. I mean, and that's perfectly fine,
it's
right?
Fine. Yeah, it's a cute, fun little fun thing between fans.
Sure. I mean, and Boo ends up being the Bonnie, right? Like,
right.
I mean,
yeah.
if any of you know about the old Pixar, there's been a fan theory about that for many years. Here's the thing: when did this? Do we know when this happened? When did Kevin Feige give this answer?
I don't think we actually do know that. Let me see if I can find it.
And here's where I'm going with this. Wouldn't it have been amazing if they would have put the mask under Peter's bed when he's getting ready to go to far from, when he's getting ready to go on the trip, and as he's packing, he pulls something out and there's the mask, and he looks at the mask and it makes him tear up because he remembers that I actually met Tony when I was a little kid. Blah blah blah. That should happen. Put that scene in there. Nah.
Okay, well, as I'm doing some quick research as we're here,
I threw you for a loop on that.
You did a little bit because I didn't expect that. So I did. It turns out it wasn't Kevin Feige that did it.
Oh!
It was Tom Holland who said
Tom Holland. Tom Holland. What?
Yeah. So Tom Holland during like the press for Spider-Man: Homecoming, somebody goes and he said, "Yeah, okay." So it was him that actually did. So I actually can't find any quote from Kevin Feige doing it. So,
but wait, you can't trust what Tom Holland says.
I know you can't really trust Tom.
No offense, Tom Holland, we love you, but I mean, dude. Oh, we'll talk. We'll convert. This will foster conversation, I am sure. It's a wonderful sentiment. It would make sense. Okay,
so Tom Holland says, here's the quote that we have.
Here we go.
"I can confirm that as of today, I literally had a conversation with Kevin Feige only 20 minutes ago. Maybe I just did a big old spoiler, but it's out there now. It's cool. I like the idea that Peter Parker has been in the universe since the beginning." So Tom Holland says that Kevin Feige said, but Kevin Feige himself, I can't find a quote that he says it.
Okay. Well, that makes sense now, but...
So that was an interview that he did with Huffington Post. So if you look at the HuffPo, you can read that for yourself and then make your own decision.
And again, still great that it's the toy helmet, all of it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I love the whole scene, everything. It's great. I don't know what's going to happen. I put it 50-50, the kid dies.
You mean even after?
Yeah, I don't know what happens. We'll have to wait till the next minute.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. We don't. I say Iron Man arrives, but doesn't necessarily mean it. Like we don't know.
He can't, because if he's Peter Parker, you know what happens. But I don't know. Whatever.
That's right. The Parker luck might strike again.
Now, okay, so we've talked about if you want this helmet, if you want this particular helmet, you can go on Amazon, you can pay a ridiculous amount of money. You might be able to find it other places. But okay, let's say you have that money and you say, I do want to buy something, but I don't want to buy that helmet. Is there anything that people can spend their money on to buy?
Well, something that's the Iron Man related, but not specifically from Iron Man, and you're not paying those outrageous collector gouge down prices.
Yeah.
I think I have something that could
go ahead.
fit that exact thing. Well, it just so happens that the Next Reel has our very own merch store, and on that merch store we have Marvel Movie Minute merchandise. That's right. You can get your own mug or shirt or hat or mask or sticker. I don't even know what other things are out there at the time. But all the stuff with our logo on it or any of your other favorite of the Next Reel family of podcasts. And a little bit of that money comes back to us to help keep this podcast a-flowing. So you go to nextreel.com/merch. It'll take you to our store. You can purchase to your heart's content, and we thank you for it.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
So we'll be back here for minute 101 as we see the death of a child, maybe. But no, come on, it's Marvel. There's no way they're going to do that. Come on, people.
Oh, my God.
Or will they? So you got to keep building the suspense. You'll have to tune in to find out. Enough said.
Bye.